It is my pleasure to welcome our keynote speaker, someone who is dear to our hearts and always gives an encouraging word whenever she sees us on the daily. So let me tell you guys a little bit about her. If you guys want to turn to your programs, you'll see. Dr. Esther Forrester was born in the Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago to a family of four and grew up in the Episcopal Church. Dr. Forrester is a pediatrician in the departments of pediatrics and child health at Howard University College of Medicine. She is currently the coordinator of adolescent medicine. Dr. Forrester received her BS in biological science at Clarion University of Pennsylvania, in Clarion, Pennsylvania. She received her degree in medicine from Meharry Medical College in Nashville, Tennessee, and she eventually went on to complete her residency training in Washington, D.C. at D.C. General Hospital / Howard University Hospital Combined Residency Program in Pediatrics. Since coming on board in 2002, Dr. Forrester has held many positions: coordinator of the Clinical Skills Lab in the College of Medicine, director of Student Health Center, and clerkship director in the Department of Pediatrics and Child Health. Dr. Forrester loves working with the students at the College of Medicine and has received several Student Council Awards since coming on board in September 2002. She received the Grant Henderson Teaching Award and was nominated for the AAMC 2004 Award for Humanism. She has received awards for outstanding faculty from HUCM graduating classes from 2004 to 2008, 2011, 2015, 2017 to 2021, and now class of 2022. She was also honored as top doctor in pediatrics in the Washington Magazine in 2014. Dr. Forrester is a member of the Gold Humanism Honor Society. Dr. Forrester is by far the proudest of her mentorship to hundreds of her Howard University students, and this is not limited to those in the health sciences. She's a coordinator for the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology Teen Promise Program at HUCM, where medical students like myself teach health education to sixth graders at the Howard University Middle School of Mathematics and Science under her supervision. She is also the director of the nonprofit ENT Youth Services and a board member of DC Campaign to Prevent Teen Pregnancy. Let's welcome Dr. Forrester to the podium.
You guys are making this really hard for me. Good morning, President Frederick, Provost Wuto, Dr. DeBroy, Dean Mighty, other deans, faculty, friends and family, and most importantly, the amazing class of 2022. Before we go any further, I want you, class of 2022, to stand up and give a roaring round of applause to your family, friends, and cheerleaders for all the support that they have given you over these 4 years. Class of 2022, I promised my 89-year-old mother that I would send greetings from my family in Tobago and in North Carolina. Unfortunately, they are unable to be here today, but are joining us virtually. You have been waiting for this day for a long time. Many of you had doubts. Would you make it? And some of you may still have little bouts of fear as you take this next step. But know you are ready. and are already living the tenets of the oath. I experience your humanity firsthand. Amidst your full plate of commitments, rounds, interviews, and living with our new normal, COVID-19. You took the time to offer me and my family support during a very challenging time. I can clearly remember that Monday afternoon in clinic, getting a telephone call that sent a jolt of electricity through me. I sat down, took a deep breath, then said a prayer, and struggled to continue seeing the remaining patients on my schedule. Fast forward, I spent the next 6 weeks caring for my parents in Tobago. I remember texting your class president, Karen, letting her know I had a family emergency and that I would still be available by WhatsApp as needed. Within minutes, I received an outpouring of your support, love, and prayers, for which I'm sincerely grateful. The first day back in my clinic, I had just put my belongings down and was about to see what the day had in store. And there was Joseph, standing outside my door. You okay? You need anything? And if that was not enough for a first morning back, here comes Joshua at lunch. Dr. Forrester, I'm just checking on you because you always look out for us. These acts of kindness that you continue to show me reflect your compassion and humanity, and this is what makes you, a Howard-trained physician, stand out among the rest. I only share this today because these traits define what it takes to be an excellent physician. Class of 2022, I want you to think back just 4 years ago. Some of you traveled by plane to get here. Others drove long hours, and some were already in the area. Whatever the scenario, there is no way that you could have ever, even in your wildest dreams, envisioned that the next 4 years were going to play out the way they did. With the COVID-19 pandemic, the surge in racial inequality, the election of the first African-American female vice president, the recent invasion of Ukraine, and yes, Rihanna is pregnant. You are entering the game at a pivotal time as we continue to battle this once-in-a-century pandemic. Your class will be remembered as the class that was studying for Step 1 during the pandemic. Not only did you have the stress of the exam looming, but the whole world was adding stress. And then, when you needed them most, you were told you couldn't be with your loved ones. You also had to find creative ways to study amidst the George Floyd protesters and helicopters flying overhead, at the same time staying healthy yourselves. Then there was that whole virtual learning experience, worrying about the unknowns of clinicals. Third year started, and you were already exhausted. But even through this, you managed to get through with flying colors and attract schools from the likes of Howard, Stanford, UCLA, Johns Hopkins, University of Chicago, and Emory, to name a few. This speaks to you, class of 2022. So those long hours rounding in the surgical intensive care unit, followed by many hours of call in that little room on labor and delivery, have now paid off. You now have the tools necessary to go out into the world and be the change that you were called to do in your Hippocratic oath. Enflesh what you may have gathered in these hallowed walls here at Howard University. But remember, your learning continues. Focus on being the best you can be. Never give up. You are not asked to do extraordinary things, but to do ordinary things extraordinarily well. In the words of Edward Livingston from the late 19th century, which are still very relevant today, you should try to cure sometimes, to relieve often, and to comfort always. These are uncertain times, but you are ready and have been adequately prepared. You were handpicked for this task. God does not make mistakes. It usually is hard, and I didn't talk to Karen or Jessica, okay, before this. It usually is hard to find one word to describe a graduating class because of the different personalities and richness in cultural diversity. However, resilience is the word that comes to mind. Whatever the challenge, you guys have always been able to pull together and get through the storms. I remember when I reached out to President Frederick for his expertise and support during the initial period of my family crisis. He reminded me that this was a temporary storm and that by God's grace, we would get through it. And guys, you have survived all these temporary storms in your own experience and are ready to go out into the world and be game changers and disruptors. Don't accept the status quo. But hold up. There are a few things I want you to remember. Always treat your patients like you wish to be treated. If you treat every patient like they were your mother or father or siblings, then you would never have any complaints. Remember that medicine is a team effort. Everyone on the team has an important role. Remember to thank your support team. Thank you goes a long way in making sure everyone feels appreciated. You will face conflicts and have differences of opinions. But remember the famous words of now deceased Archbishop Desmond Tutu: don't raise your voice, improve your argument. Look the part, be professional. Show respect for your patients. Treat patients as individuals and respect their dignity. The good physician treats the disease. The great physician treats the patient who has the disease. Smile. The last thing a patient wants to see is your irritated face. Even if you had to work 2 ER shifts back to back, all they really want is to feel better. Learn to listen. Listen to your patients. Listen to your colleagues. To listen is to learn. Be knowledgeable about your patients. Patients are reassured when they know that their doctor is knowledgeable in the specialty that they are seeking advice on. My young doctors, now this is the tough one, and I really want you to listen to me. Take care of yourselves. Self-care, mental, physical, and spiritual. This is going to be your biggest challenge. You have to care for yourself before you care for others. Remember, happiness is a choice. The world is not always a very forgiving world. And there are going to be some days when you feel very much alone. So, I want you to look to your left right now. Look to your left, and then to your right. And make sure you take a mental picture and then get contact information. Because this, your Howard University family, starting with our amazing Dean Mighty, is not going anywhere. We are here for you in good times and during the storms. Match Day is the culmination of hard work and dedication with personal sacrifices, missed family gatherings, and holidays. Now, when you open those envelopes, most of you will be elated, but some of you will not have gotten your first choice. Remember this: you are going to be beginning training where you are supposed to be. I'm going to say that again. You are going to be beginning training where you are supposed to be. Class of 2022, I want to leave you with a quote from the Dalai Lama 14. There are only 2 days in the year that nothing can be done. One is called yesterday, and the other is called tomorrow. Today is the right day to love, believe, do, and mostly live. Class of 2022, thank you for being you. Thank you, Justine, Edaya, Jason, Bubini, Pam, Brandon, thank you, all of you. Go be the change that this world needs. I have asked your classmate, Navaya, to come up here and join me and lead us in singing What the World Needs Now is Love by Jackie DeShannon. Navaya is going to be accompanied by Andy, also of the class of 2022.